Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? And welcome to a very special version of the Jettison Life podcast. Today, we are going to be doing our top fives of 2019. Some of the subjects we are going to be covering are obviously top five films. Then we have top five new TV shows, top five returning TV shows, top five games, and somebody's put in their top five overall of everything of those subjects in their 2019 thing. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my panel of sluts. I have to my right, Darth Japati, and I have below me, the Bobalorian.
David,
this is the way.
Okay, so we are going to go straight with top five films of 2019, and we'll do I'm gonna Jason, if you want to start off with your top five films of 2019.
Yes, I would like to start off with my top five films of 2019.
Right then.
Hold on, I'm bringing it up.
Yeah,
Okay, so my list is I don't have time to see a lot of movies and stuff. I mean, I try to see as much as possible, but also I included I included like some animated things, so y'all can suck it if you don't like it. All right, so are we going back and forth? Oh, go ahead,
Jason. 1 second. Just to be clear to anyone, it doesn't have to be. Oh, hello, Kat. You're joining me now. I'm gonna do my screen. Doesn't have to be films that you saw in the cinema. Could be anything that's basically 90 minutes and above long. Yeah, meow the kitty. So yeah, if you want to carry on, Jason, I like close.
Am I going through all like five in a row, or are we bouncing back and forth?
Well, that was the plan, to bounce back and forth, but seeing as Zam fucked up.
That's okay. Well, then me and you can bounce back and forth, and well, I don't know. I don't care. All right, so
considering I do fives all the bloody time, you know what I mean? It's pretty hard just to come up with an abundance of one just particular show.
Oh dear.
So,
and
that's not just the top five. Even the one was not really about 2019 anyway. But
yeah, okay. Anyway, let's see.
He obviously didn't get laid enough in 2019, is what he's saying. Because
you're breaking up again.
Oh, for flaming flap's sake! My back.
Professional.
All right, so my number five is going to be, because I am the MCU mark that I am, is going to be Spider-Man: Far From Home. Not only did we get and keep in mind, I don't watch a lot of artsy-fartsy movies, so a lot of these probably may be predictable to all of you for me, because I'm a mark. I can't help it. I love superhero movies. I really liked about this movie was it kind of portrayed the Mysterio character very well, even though, throughout the movie, spoiler, we knew he was a bad guy. I felt like the way that everything was portrayed was very true to the character throughout the whole thing. Jake Gyllenhaal was amazing as Quentin Beck. And although there was one or two missteps, I feel, in the movie, I feel like overall it was a much better movie than Homecoming. And it's probably my second favorite Spider-Man movie overall, like out of any of them. Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire ones, of course, being numero uno still. But I would still say Far From Home definitely climbed its way right up that ladder and gave us a great villain and a great story and a great Spider-Man experience altogether.
Yeah, it's in my top 10 of the year. It's not my top 5, but it's in my top 10. I absolutely love Far From Home. It's my favorite Spider-Man film. I kind of like that we've got a bit of Peter Parker in this one as well, just trying to be Peter Parker. The villain was fantastic. Good film. Yeah, no real complaints.
What I like about Spider-Man Far From Home was we kind of got a different Peter Parker. The previous Peter Parkers we've seen is that he's got to try and juggle the responsibility as well as his regular life. It's really difficult, and he ends up letting his family down and people down because he's always running late and shit like this. In this one, he doesn't give a fuck about the bigger picture. Well, he does, but he really just wants to be a kid. He wants to fucking date the girl. He wants to do regular shit more. He doesn't want to be doing all this Nick Fury bollocks if he didn't have to. And I like that. I like that take on it. Yeah. I liked it. He understood the bigger picture still, but he deep down, he just wanted to be a regular kid. It's more than anything.
Yeah, spot on. All right, number 4, Jason.
All right, so number 4 on my list is Batman versus TMNT. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see this or not, but
Oh yeah, that
Nope.
came out this year. Didn't like it.
oh, it was for me. I'm a big Turtles fan, and I mean comics and cartoon and even movie, except for the Michael Bay ones. Yeah, I mean, other than that, but I mean, I feel like that this movie was it took it like it was silly, but it took itself very seriously for what it was. It was Batman and the Ninja Turtles, and it was kind of a family story between two different families coming together, and like they treated it so well, and the fight scenes in it were just amazeballs. Like I haven't seen that kind of fight sequences and animation in a while, honestly. And just like I mean, they did a lot of things that gave every single character their moment. And it wasn't like, how everybody, makes fun of Donatello as like, the nerd of the group or what. But you know what? Like, yeah, he's not the best fighter. Huh?
Yeah, mine too. Donatello.
He's my favorite too.
He was brilliant, man. He's the only one with brains in that fucking group.
Yeah, exactly. I like him and Raph.
See, mine are Donatello and Leo. So
yeah, fair enough.
And I mean, like, just every character I felt like got their moment to be themselves as well as shine. And I mean, everything was very believable. Like, I kind of, the way that they did Ra's al Ghul, because I'm like, when Leonardo was going to fight Ra's al Ghul, I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna do this.
Look, Roberto, sorry for interrupting you. I haven't seen it, but one of the reasons why I didn't see it is I didn't really, it wasn't a crossover that appealed to me. But that's the only reason.
The comic book was really good.
If you say it's good, yeah. I will try to watch it. I will try to watch it for sure.
I thought it was amazing, but as I said, I'm a mark. So I mean, I'm one of those people that you throw my favorite things on the screen. I'll probably watch it and love it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of my my favorite things to watch in 2019.
It was all right. I mean, I liked how the Turtles were portrayed in this. I thought they were done really well. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too much. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is kind of odd, but I weirdly enjoyed it a lot because it was a merger of two worlds into like it was not a merger. It was what this world would be like if there was a certain thing in the world, and that's Detective Pikachu. I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would. Like, I didn't get into Pokemon back in the day. I played the mobile game for a little bit, but sitting down kind of like as this person from the outside and watching it, I was like, I'm actually really vested in this world that they're creating here. Like, the way that the humans interacted with the Pokemon and how it just made everything seem like it was just the way it was. And it wasn't this big, like, they didn't go out of their way to make it seem like, oh, well, this is how the world's different. No, it just, you kind of saw how the world was different and you were just along for the ride. And I really thought it was a great mesh of that. I really like the actor. I don't remember. It's not Jada Pinkett Smith, or not Jada Pinkett Smith. It's something Smith. He was in Jurassic World too, but yeah, but he was really good in the movie. I mean, there were some predictable beats in there, but I thought that a lot of the special effects were spot on. I feel like the movie, I like a goofy type movie like this that takes itself seriously, but still is not afraid to have fun, and they really did in this movie. I loved Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. I know a lot of people give Ryan Reynolds some hate, and I don't know if you guys hate him or not, but I like Ryan Reynolds. I like his attitude, and I just feel like he portrayed this whole thing really well. And for someone who doesn't get into Pokemon very much, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and hope there would at least be not like a sequel, because I don't want to see the same thing over again, but like some kind of spin-off, like, I don't know, like they do like, one of those Pokemon tournaments or something like that. I don't know. I mean, in live action. So I don't know. That's my my number 3.
I never watched it. No interest in Pokemon. But cool. Zam, did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I can't give anything on it, I'm afraid. But once again, it sounds good.
Yep. Number two.
Number two is one that probably a lot of people would predict with me is Dragon Ball Super Broly. So I've been a Dragon Ball fan, obviously, my entire life.
Yeah.
So this movie here, I mean, there's a lot of garbage Dragon Ball stuff. I'm not ignorant to that fact whatsoever. I know that that there's a ton of garbage Dragon Ball stuff. But this was a movie that they took the animation seriously, they took the story seriously, they took the character seriously. And I don't know if you guys have even seen this, but I mean, it was
No. Okay.
I mean,
Dragon Ball, I mean, but yeah,
they went balls to the wall, like this is a story we're telling. We're not trying to like appeal to the audiences, like the masses. We're taking our fans who have been watching the show, watching Super, watching Z, everything like that, and we're gonna make a good movie for them. My daughter enjoyed this movie. Like we'd been watching Dragon Ball Super. She's almost 11. At the time, she was 9 when this came out, or well, yeah, she was almost 10. So it's like, and she enjoyed this movie. And I mean, she had only seen a little bit of Dragon Ball Super, but she wanted to go see it because she saw the trailer. And it's just like, I think that when a lot of times when movies like this buckle down and not try to appeal to the masses, kind of like the MCU does, they buckle down on what they're doing rather than how can they get all the butts in the seats. You get a good product. And I mean, that goes for any genre. So I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of realizing that now. Like, it's not about appealing everybody. It's about appealing to your audience, and then the people in your audience will drag other people with them. They're like, no, you can come in and I'll explain everything. So, and I mean, that's where we see a lot of the success. And this is the Dragon Ball Super Broly made the most money out of any animated. Oh, well, maybe almost. It may not be number one, but it is definitely one of the top couple animated movies to be released in there. It made like over $15 million or $20 million or something like that. That's a lot for an anime movie in a theater, especially in America.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but good things about this. People will just be fawning over this, saying it's the Dragon Ball film they deserved and all that kind of stuff. And I think you hit the point there where it's like, just don't worry about trying to get new people in. Just go balls to the wall and let people join the ride. You don't need to know what the fuck is going on. If it's good, you'll enjoy it. And I'm guessing that's what they did with this. And it's what drew people in to watch it, because it created a buzz. And the more buzz it created, more people went and watched it. And I'm nothing against the Dragon Ball series, by the way. I don't want people thinking I was just too old when it came out and, just never got into it. That's all, really.
I'm here with it. I haven't watched it recently. I haven't watched Dragon Ball since I was a kid. I saw all of the stuff on Cartoon Network, all the variations of it and stuff like that, and then I just moved on. I mean, it's unfortunate I never stuck with it because it feels like it's evolved a lot since then. But it's a bit like Doctor Who. I'm just no longer in the loop anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, number one. Bob?
Huh?
Sorry, go on, Sam.
I was just saying, Bubba, once again, if you recommend it, I'll try and watch it.
I mean, I would try watching some of Dragon Ball Super and then watching Broly. I mean, if you know Dragon Ball Z, then watch Dragon Ball. Try to watch. There's like 131 episodes right now of Dragon Ball Super, but like some of it's really good. Some of it is a little meh, but some of it's really good, and I think you would enjoy it. Okay, so number one. Can anyone guess what my number one is? And keep in mind, these are only movies I've seen this year. So
Avengers Endgame.
Endgame. Come on, I mean, Avengers Endgame. I mean, I'm the super mark that I mean, just you even pander to me a little bit in my feels about my nerddom, and I mean, I'm there, doing the nasty in the movie theater. So, it is a culmination of the MCU first Infinity Saga phase, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's not much more anyone can say about it. It's another movie that said, we're going balls to the wall. We're appealing to the fans who have been along this ride for us for the past 10 years. And that's it. So I mean, that one was kind of a gimme. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Endgame. Of course, it's in my top five as well.
Yeah, mine too. I just want to say, guys, I've just on the fly, I've made another top 5. So I'm happy to
top 5 what?
Top 5 TV shows.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
did top 5 movies and top 5 TV shows.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well, again, I think because I'm pretty sure we've all got Endgame in our list. We can all just describe when we get to it how we felt about the film, rather than talk about it here. So
Yeah,
that was a
fair
really nice top 5. I like it. It was just unique as fuck. I really like that, Jason. So Zam, if you've got your top 5 films, rock and roll, baby.
Now, you have to understand. My initial list was a mixture of films and TV shows, so I've kind of shuffled things around a little bit, and I've added a few things in here. There's probably stuff I have that hasn't come into my mind yet, slipped my mind, forgotten about, and so forgive me if you don't think this top 5 is too great. But we're going to start off initially with Endgame. I want to quickly just talk. That's number 1, by the way. I'm going to start with number 1 at the beginning. I'm going to start from 1 to 5.
Man, he blows his load right in the beginning.
Yeah, let's just start with the best. I love it. It was great. I mean, it only had one. It had very little action in it, if you're considering it was all pretty much at the end. But that doesn't matter because by this time we were so engrossed with the characters, we didn't need action. We wanted them, and their lives and everything. We got to see. I would like to have seen the world a little bit more, during the phase of the blip, of the snap. People still struggling with life a little bit more. That was fascinating. I could have seen the whole film just about that, but I think we've spoken about that in the past. But nevertheless, I don't think I've said that nobody else hasn't said yet. It's a great movie. It fucking deserves an Oscar just for the ingenious of it. I mean, you've got to look at the bigger picture. Yes, it's a popcorn flick, but it's probably one of the greatest popcorn flicks ever made. It really is. It's so clever. I mean, there's heart to it. Millions of actors. You really got to put it into perspective how good this film is beyond the fact of it being a popcorn flick. But yeah, that's Endgame. Okay, on to number 2. Number 2 really is number 4, I guess, and that is Captain Marvel, which came out at the beginning of this year. A lot of people give this film a lot of shit, and I liked it. They made it a very much Me Too-y and stuff like that. But I think they're mixing who Brie Larson is to the actress Brie Larson to Captain Marvel itself, because it never felt like that at all. I think because she didn't have a love interest, and all that sort of bollocks. People were wondering, and if anything, the connection she had was with her best friend and all of that sort of stuff. It didn't need any of that. It was just a good film. It's not like. Yeah, but it was good to see a different side to Nick Fury. He came across as a bit stupid in this. Nick Fury nowadays seems to be way more sharper, and you have to understand this particular Nick Fury wasn't a spring chicken either. He was a man in his 40s, but nevertheless, it was all right. It was better than I expected it to be. But it was okay, and I like Captain Marvel. I think she's a good character, regardless of what people think of Brie Larson. I like Captain Marvel, and that's why it's in my list. And it also set up Endgame really well. She was introduced. It's unfortunate she wasn't in Endgame too much. Yes, Roberto.
Oh, I didn't know how we're doing the format, but I was just gonna say, I agree with you. This one barely did not make my top 5. I actually think it was a great origin story. I mean, and I feel like a lot of the current, Doctor Strange's origin story, a lot of the Phase 3 origin stories get overlooked because we're so far into it and there's so much expectation on these origin stories. Doctor Strange was a fantastic origin story, but everyone's kind of like, it was good. It was a good movie.
I love that film.
I know. I love it too. I love it absolutely too. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like some of these origin stories are getting overlooked, and they're like, oh, it's a typical Marvel movie. It's like, no, it's an origin story and they're trying to put a unique spin on it. So I agree. Captain Marvel would probably, if we were doing 10, Captain Marvel would probably be my number 6, on that list, because I'm an MCU mark. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I like. It's not in my top 10 or anything like that, but I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the kind of throwback to the 90s. Excellent soundtrack. Gave me my favorite visual moment of 2019 when she shoots the hyperdrive engine and it all just slows down, all that blue light. And I just love that moment. I just, you know, if you do a good visual for me, then I'm happy. But again, Brie Larson's portrayal of Captain Marvel is a lot better than Captain Marvel in the comics. Who's an insufferable fuckwit. But
I agree with you 100%.
Like that. Yeah. But
if you watch Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes, they also have a good Captain Marvel. It's an animated show, but they had a good Carol Danvers in that show too. But I mean,
yeah, because in the comic book, she's just annoying.
She's dry.
Yeah, I like this film. Yeah, you know, I've got nothing bad to say against it. Moving on.
So remember, I've already done number 1, and Captain Marvel was number 4. So we're on to number 3 now. And
I'm lost.
Yeah. Number 2 will be the last one. Yeah. So we're on to number 3 now. Yeah. No, we're not. Anyway, forget it. Forget what I said. Yeah. We're on. This is the third one, regardless. And that is also the third one. This is also the third one in the trilogy, and that is John Wick 3. This film, I have to be honest with you, this film in a way disappointed me to a degree, but I think it became a bit of a parody of itself. And one of the things I liked about the initial John Wick film, and even the second one, was the fact that there are assassins in this world, and they could be anyone. In John Wick 3, there are assassins in this world, and they're everyone. And I didn't like that. I really didn't fucking like that at all. Everyone's a fucking assassin. That kind of pissed me off. But nevertheless, the action scenes were great. I think the earlier action scenes in this movie were the best parts of the film. By the end of the movie, it kind of felt like we've been here and done it before and like just get it over with. But I'm looking forward to the next one. Keanu Reeves is a badass. The guy is unbelievably talented in various ways as an actor. Maybe not the best actor overall, but the guy can do physical acting better than most. And you see it in his performances like The Matrix and John Wick. You guys got anything to say about John Wick 3 before I move on?
I'll talk about it later.
I agree. I have not seen any of the John Wick movies, but everyone I talk to says they absolutely love it, and they're great movies. And so I'll probably get to them one of these days. They never really interested me, so I'll probably get to them one day. But I mean, you know, I'll check them out. I mean, as I said, you guys and everybody else has said they're great.
All right.
Okay. So I got my numbering all wrong, by the way, earlier. Number 1 was Endgame. Number 5 was Captain Marvel. Number 4 was John Wick, and number 3 came out recently. It was The Irishman.
You're on number 2 now.
No, I'm on number 3. Number 2 will be the last one. Number 5 is number 1 was Endgame. Number 5 was Captain Marvel. Number 3 is John Wick, and number 2 now is The Irishman.
You're confusing the fuck out.
I'm getting confused. Anyway, I've got 2 left here, and this what I'm talking about is The Irishman. All right. I love a good Martin Scorsese gangster flick like the next person, and this one was pretty much it to a degree. The political side of the film kind of got a bit jarring, and it kind of took away from what I loved about some of the Scorsese stuff. But initially, at the beginning, it was pretty interesting. A lot of people are rating the de-aging, but I don't think it was that great because as young as Robert De Niro might have looked, he still had the fucking body of a 70-year-old, you know, and it was very noticeable in a lot of scenes, especially when he beat up that shopkeeper. But nevertheless, it was a great story. Various Scorsese moments, various Scorsese directing bits and bobs, which you can see a mile off. Good storytelling. Al Pacino in his first Scorsese movie as well was great. Joe Pesci as well. You know, Harvey Keitel. You know, the list is endless. You know, such big name actors. All you know, you just want to see in films like this. I wish Martin Scorsese did a fucking gangster flick every year. You know, I'd rather have that than Star Wars every year. I swear to God, I really would. Any of you guys seen The Irishman? Got anything to say about it?
Yeah, it's in my top 10. I love this film. I get a bit annoyed that people can't get past all the de-aging stuff. I didn't care. I thought it was okay, nothing special, but I just enjoyed the film. I just invested in the fucking characters. I liked the subject matter. I'm a huge you know, I was like, because I like my history, my political history, and so seeing Jimmy Hoffa on screen was fascinating. All the bullshit that went on behind, and just to reiterate, nobody knows how he actually disappeared. So the film just takes liberties with that and just shows what it shows. But yeah, I really loved the film. I was just engrossed in it for 3.5 hours. Didn't even notice at the time had gone by, except for the last like 20 minutes dragged a bit. I'll be honest there. Other than that, yeah, it's in my top 10. That's for sure.
You know, regarding the de-aging, I didn't really know. I mean, I was first focused on the face. I didn't notice the bodies, but it wasn't when I saw reviews that people mentioned that. I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. They got a good job by Scorsese that for me personally, I didn't notice it. But you know, once they mentioned it, I couldn't notice it. But yeah,
I
that's
think
that one.
one of
And
one
now,
of the problems they had is, sorry, 1 second, Sam. One of the problems they
yeah,
had with the de-aging thing is the guy that did it had to do a new approach because the actors did not want to have dots all over their faces because they said they couldn't
mhm.
engross themselves in the moment and take it seriously if they were having to look at dots on other people's faces. So he had to come up with a brand new camera system to do it. So obviously this is teething issues that they had, but for the most part, I thought it was fine. You know. Anyway, moving on to your number 1, 8, or 7.
Okay. Number one is the quadrilogy of a franchise that has been good with every film it's brought out. And that film is Toy Story 4. If you've not seen it yet, then shame on you. This film is excellent. This film is just as good as previous Toy Stories. It's got the same heart, the same care, the same devotion. And anyone who thinks that a film should stop at a trilogy, you know, you got to think outside the box sometimes. If it's good enough, make it. Whether it's a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, it's got to be good. And you can make 4 good films on the run. Toy Story's proven it. I don't want to go into the story itself too much. I just want to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and I highly recommend it. You
Yeah,
guys?
Toy Story 4 was really, really good. It's my second favorite Toy Story film. I didn't really like number 3 that much. I thought it was a bit too sappy for my liking. This one took a more logical step, and
Great.
rather than sitting there going, "Oh, okay, just finish it now." Now you're like, actually, I want to see what happens next, kind of thing with how it finished. So loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
You know, like when Buzz tells Woody Bonnie will be fine. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It was really
you know,
great moment.
I'm not going to say any more than that. I don't want to spoil, just in case Roberto hasn't seen it. You know, but you know, this moments like that is like, wow. You know, great
Yeah.
writing, little things. But yeah, that's my top 5, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That was my top 5 of
Yeah,
2019.
I enjoyed it. Solid.
Thank you.
Okay.
I tried to keep it as different as possible because I knew I had things like Far From Home and stuff like that in there. I didn't want to, you know, repeat that shit again.
Well, I mean, we're nerds, so our paths are going to cross when it comes to a lot of these kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
it was
those can just be the ones we really don't talk about again. You can just say Far From Home. We've already talked about it. You know, yada yada.
Yeah, exactly.
Endgame without that had to be in there, regardless of all of
Yeah,
us.
I'd say Endgame was on everybody's list. Or you can just say, or you can just say, you know, TBD, to be discussed. You know, if you know,
I would put Far From Home in for Captain Marvel personally, but other than that, my list is pretty much how it is.
Yeah, because I want to hear your guys' actual top. Don't because it's on one of our other lists. Like don't.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anything. Mine is November.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Okay, so do my top 5 films. So at number 5, we have Joker. I absolutely effing love this film. And I always say to people, a lot of people that didn't like it or didn't get it, I'm like, that's number 1, you don't understand politics. Number 2, you don't understand mental health. And number 3, you're just not invested in the Joker character. I love the Joker. He's one of my favorite villains. I like seeing different interpretations of characters. Like, I never have a problem, say, if a if a company, let's say for example Warner Brothers Animation, they'll give you 5 to 10 different versions of Batman and all that. And although I'm not a big fan of Batman himself, I'll sit there and I'll watch them and I'll watch the different universes it's set in and all that. So I like that kind of thing. So I was very interested to see what they did with this film. And it was fantastic. It dealt with Reaganomics and how, tax cuts for the rich was affecting everything else. They were cutting services for people that need it, especially for mental health services, something relatable for myself. We also saw like Arthur was just this interesting character where society was just beating him down and he snapped. And although people would say like, oh, but reality is that's not mental health people, how they will react. I'm like, yes, but it's a film and it's a Joker. So let's not draw these silly comparisons. And I just love one of my absolute favorite things of 2019 was on the talk show with Robert De Niro. And you see that slow, condescending descend into like, you know what? Fuck you lot. You took the piss out of me and you're just going to pay for what you did. And he just shoots Robert De Niro, who, by the way, was excellent in this film. His comedic timing was superb. And given some of the films he's done in the past, I'm not surprised. But yeah, absolutely love the Joker. Zam?
Yeah, I liked it. By the way, I thought Joker. Have you seen the Joker, by the way, Roberto?
I have not, but I mean, I know all about it, and I've seen parts of it.
Mate.
I just haven't had a chance to.
But I know you like the Riddler. Damn.
You see, I'm surprised, Roberto, that you haven't seen that film. But nevertheless, you kind of knew when he switched. There was the moment where his face was just painted white, and he had those two guys in his house, the midget and the big guy. You knew that particular moment he was no longer. What was the character's name again?
Arthur
Fleck.
Arthur Fleck.
Yeah. He was no longer Arthur anymore. He was now the Joker. Little things. I mean, I think he was the Joker after with the situation with his mum, but yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed the transformation and the journey he went on. It was about people, just having everything just taken away from them. Next thing you know, they've got nothing left to live for, nothing left to lose, and they go for it. And it was great. I'm not sure if I'm interested, but the Thomas Wayne sing and all of that felt a bit cutesy.
That was the negative of the film.
Yeah, they didn't need
the film at all in that way.
Yeah, they didn't need that, in my opinion.
No. That was playing it too safe, too familiar, and they didn't need to.
You saw like Arthur. He was a guy who was trying to do right by society, to be a good person in society, but society was always like shitting on him. So what do you expect? What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Jason, you wanted to say something?
Oh, just because I haven't seen the movie, I mean, like, and we've also talked about this actually here, about the, how the public treats, the mental illness and everything. And honestly, the one thing I really appreciate about the handling of this movie is them coming out and saying, look, this is not a comic book Joker. This is us taking a real life theme and putting it into this character that, is very notable. And honestly, I think it was handled very well. It's not that I haven't seen the movie because I think, oh, this isn't the comic book Joker. Oh, this isn't a Batman story. I just haven't seen it because it's just one of those movies, and I'm not refusing to see it. It's one of those movies that it's like, I have a hard time watching movies like this because it sheds a little bit too much reality on things. And that this is where I'm an easy mark. And it's just like,
oh,
like
I still think I'll be regardless of all of that. If it's about Joker, there's fucking Bruce Wayne's in it, fucking Thomas Wayne's in it. I think there might be a few other fucking Easter eggs there. I didn't pick up on.
No, but that's the reason why I'm not watching it is because I'm against it.
No, but it's an evolution of. You say it's not comic book. I disagree, dude. It's an evolution of it, man.
No, he didn't say that.
Sorry?
He didn't say that. He said it just touches too close to reality.
Yeah,
He
and
never talked about it not being comic book.
He did say it was a comic book. He did say that.
Did you?
Yes, he
What did I
definitely did.
say?
He mentioned it. You did say it's not like a comic book movie. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like
and
a
that's,
comic book version.
Oh, sorry. I've just
But
woken
no.
up. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Oh,
but but that's what I'm saying. It's not that I'm refusing to see it. It's not that I don't like it. It's I mean, I'll probably see it here eventually. It's not a movie that I want to pay $15 to go see, to like be really discouraged and sad. And I mean, yeah, no, I'm not pirating it. What I'll do is I'll Redbox it and pay $1 for it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Still honoring the system there, Zam. Doing Redbox anyway. But and as I said, I mean, I have nothing. If anyone said, "Hey, I'm going to go see the Joker," I'd be like, "I've heard it's awesome. Definitely do it. If you think this is something that you're going to enjoy, definitely see it." Because as I said, I've read all about it. I know all about it. I love the light that they put on society versus mental illness. I love all these things, and I am I'm not supporting it. I'm just it's just not my jam. Is basically what it boils down to. And it might be.
Okay. You're dwelling too much on it. Let's move on.
Roberto, what I'm trying to say is that if they had to do an origins for the Joker, I think people wouldn't want it any other way but this sort of way. Any other way, like him falling in a vat of acid and shit like that, we'll be rolling our eyes like the fucking Undertaker, mate. You know what I mean?
Listen, I prefer this origin stories to the fucking Killing Joke one, which is a comic book I did not like.
Oh yeah. Overrated, man. Overrated. And the
overrated.
fucking awful.
I preferred this.
Awful.
Yeah. And also people, I say, or there's only 3 people watching, but anyone else would just be like, oh, fuck off.
Right. And this is my problem. Like, what? Sorry. I apologize. I need to get this off my chest. You see Batman Beyond. You see Barbara Gordon, as fucking commissioner. She's walking around and shit. And this version, she gets fucking crippled. I just don't like all this shit. And then they make her more crippled than the fucking Barbara Gordon, who was the police commissioner. I prefer the Barbara Gordon, who's a fucking police commissioner, not the fucking Overwatch version. Anyway.
Yeah. Oracle. Okay. All right. Number 4 is Dolomite is my name and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. So this is Eddie Murphy portraying shit. I forgot the actor he was portraying. But this is an Eddie Murphy film. It's a biopic of blaxploitation actor from the 70s. And full disclosure, I love the blaxploitation films. I used to have neighbors that were Jamaican, and they had a huge collection of them. So I would just sit there and watch all these films like Cleopatra Jones, Foxy Brown, Shaft, Dolomite, all this kind of stuff. And I absolutely love Eddie Murphy. And I'm so pissed off because his films have been so shit. So this was Eddie Murphy returning to form as the Eddie Murphy we all know and love. Who will give an amazing performance. He'll make you laugh. He will, he swears. It's just the Eddie Murphy, the great Eddie Murphy of the 80s, the one that we all fell in love with. And this film basically is about how I need to remember his name because he's very important. 1 second. Sorry. I can't believe I forgot. No, just fucking Dolomite, you stupid cunts. That's it. Rudy Ray Moore. I think that was the name of the character.
That's a cool name in its own right.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let me. I need to make sure that is. Yeah, Rudy Ray Moore. Rudy Ray Moore, believe it or not, was actually the father of rap because his style of comedy that he used to do on stage, the way he would tell a story, but it all rhymed, and that was the kind of birth of rap. So he was a very, very important figure, and rappers have paid a huge homage to him. He's been in a lot of rappers' videos as well, like Snoop Dogg's and things like that. So that everyone recognizes him as the godfather of rap. Sorry, go on.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away. He passed away not that long ago. It was Let me see. 1 second. He passed away 10 years ago. It was a good age as well. It was like 81. You know what I mean? So yeah, he lived a good he lived a good life. And this film basically is the story of Rudy Ray Moore and how he became Dolomite, and how at the time it was one of the most a film with zero budget became one of the most successful films of the year it was released, and nobody expected it, and it kind of helped with the explosion of black exploitation. He kind of helped set the bar of, why is it always got to be serious? Why can't it be funny? Why can't we, why is it always this, and this? And Eddie Murphy's portrayal was fucking second to none. It was fantastic, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix film, just like The Irishman. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if you boys have seen it.
No, but I just want to say, I haven't seen the movie, but I just want to say regarding Eddie Murphy, that guy still fucking got it, man. I mean, he's very, very talented.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I'll say this again. I'm going to say this many times in the future too, but stand-up comedians are the best fucking actors. And they're so fucking talented, these guys, and he's no different, man. You see him; he can do multiple accents. He's done a few serious films in his latter years in acting, and he can do comedic roles, obviously. And he was fantastic during the 80s. He's just brilliant. Anything, he's brilliant. Just some of the films he does is shit. Doesn't matter how good an actor you are, you can pick shit films, and he does do that a lot, unfortunately. But him as a talent, second to none. He's just brilliant. Eddie Murphy's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorites in anything. So, all right, moving on. Number 3. Number 3 came out of nowhere. I personally only watched it because I just thought this looks like a very French animation style, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. And it ended up blowing my fucking mind, and that is Klaus. Again, another film on Netflix, a Christmas film about the origins of Santa Claus, or their take on the origins of Santa Claus. What a brilliant, brilliant film. It shows how the selfish deeds of one person can have a domino effect of positivity with another group of people. And basically, it's about the spoiled son of a postmaster, the guy that owns a post office, who his dad exiles him to an isolated island and says, you're cut off from your inheritance unless you manage to get delivered 6,000 letters. And, because of their selfish deed to he needs to get these letters done, it kind of, it has a domino effect of this in this island of 2 tribes, let's call it, or 2 families, 2 sides that absolutely hate each other. When the bell rings, they'll fight and all this and that. And it's excellent in how it does it. It's also shows you the stupidity of tradition. When one of the kids is like, "Why do we fight with these lot?" Like, it's tradition. It's like, well, that's a bit stupid. You go, don't question it. It's tradition, which is a kind of nice little dig at traditions, like, in cultures and religion and all this kind of thing. And good.
I know where you're from exactly.
You know exactly what you're. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just as it goes along, it just gets funnier and funnier. It's a really sweet, touching film. It has quite a lot of feels in it as well. I ain't afraid to admit it. And I've literally twice posted on Facebook, because a lot of my friends have their kids and all of that, and to say, just please watch this film. And all my friends that have watched it absolutely loved it as well. I can't recommend it enough. It's now my favorite Christmas film of all time. Zam, I don't know if you've seen it.
Unfortunately, I haven't, dude. Sorry.
That's all right, no problem. I'll quickly move on to number 2. Number 2 is Endgame. Of course, there was no way this film was not going to be in my top 5 list. Thing with this film is people need to understand it wasn't just another Marvel and MCU film. It was the I preferred Infinity War, but Endgame it's they've lost. They've actually lost, and when they lost even more because they get to Thanos and he's like, yeah, well, the Infinity Gems are gone. You shit out of luck. You're fucked.
They
And
can't
I
reverse
agree
it.
with them. I would have liked to have seen five more, a bit more of that universe where people have lost everything, not just from like the Avengers, but from other people as well, and not just secluded in a group therapy thing. But just you see a bit of the world around. Other than that, I thought the film was fantastic. The time travel stuff was very, very clever. How they did it. Not a lot of action in the film, but not needed. Again, when you're invested in the characters. And plus, I've got to say, I don't think the Russos really shoot action scenes that well. If I'm being honest, like they haven't like blown me away. So I wasn't that fussed that we didn't get a lot of action in this, but it had so many amazing moments in it, the fact that they handled everything well, the timing, the pacing, they gave every character their due. It's just it needs to be said that the Russos need to be praised for the work they did in Infinity War and in Endgame, because this is nothing that's been done before. 10 years of work culminating to this moment and executed beautifully. And what a fantastic way to kind of end the film as well. So yeah, this is why and Endgame needs to be respected for the work that went into it. The effort it took to get all these characters to this bit. It's a franchise like no other, and so yeah, it had to be in my list. But that's my number 2.
I just want
Well,
to correct you, Jim. 11 years, not 10. 11
What?
years, not 10.
11 years. Sorry, yeah, 11. Well,
It's been
10 because they
2000
filmed it. It was last year
2008
we
was
got
Iron Man.
Infinity War. Last year we got Infinity War, and that all kind of counts to that. But yeah, 11 years. Yeah, okay. And number 1 is John Wick 3. And you probably think, why is this one number 1? Well, I'm a whore for action films. I love action films, and just the action scenes in this film blew my nuts off. The bit with the dogs, just take all your other action films and just throw them in the bin. That scene alone was just phenomenal. I love the John Wick trilogy. It's now one of my all-time favorite trilogies, along with Lord of the Rings and the original Star Wars trilogy, and Naked Gun trilogy. Let's not lie. Just a brilliant, silly action film, which just leaves you wanting more. And I just, I'm glad that they carried on. They're going to give us John Wick 4. It was just over the top silliness, the motorbikes and the samurai and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sitting in the cinema and we're all sitting there going, yeah, fucking kick it. Yeah. It was also a good cinema experience because all of us were just like laughing our heads off, yelling. Nobody knew each other. But yeah, that's my number 1, John Wick 3. Obviously,
I just want to add something. I want to add something now. See, my problem with John Wick 3 is things like in John Wick 2, you had what was the name of that of the black dude, the bald black dude?
I can't remember. I know him as Common, the rapper, but I don't remember.
Common is fine. Yeah. Anyway, John Wick and Common are fighting each other. They're even shooting each other, but they're doing it discreetly, so people around them don't know. In John Wick 3, he just cuts this guy's. Slices this guy's neck, leaves his body lying on the floor, and people are still bopping around like they're NPCs in the video game. I found it fucking ridiculous in that sense. You know what I mean? It was just like, come on, man. This is
fun of it.
Like, you're not even doing. He's killed him in front of all these people and left him dead on the floor, and people are just walking around like nothing. It's like, what the fuck's going on? It just things like that really take me out of it, man. Take me out of it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Right, we're now moving on to top 5 new TV shows of the year. I know Zamjo's is a little bit different, so we'll do mine and Jason's and then go on to yours. So this one's season 1's brand new. We've never seen it before, or it's been tweaked and reinterpreted and then relaunched as new. So we'll go with. I'll just carry on because I'm already talking. So number 5 for me was Hairy Bikers Do Route 66. First of all, I love cooking shows. But this one is important because, okay, so they're going through America and all of that. But what they did in this was they also talked about the dark history of America in this. They really didn't pull any fucking punches in this show. I was shocked. Like they're going through and they're in like Oklahoma, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, okay." They go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm like, I wonder if they'll talk about what happened there in the 1920s. But without even missing a beat, they straight away talk about what they call the riots, but it was actually a terrorist attack by white Americans on the black community. They actually bombed the fucking Black Wall Street and all that. It was very dark. It's America's darkest moment, and they never fucking talk about it. And it absolutely like shocking how sick and sadistic they could be. And they talked about it in the show. They also talk about what the Native Americans went through, and that. And plus, it was good humored, and they also did a lot of great cooking as well. So that's why it makes my top 5 list for touching on the political stuff. Zam, I don't know if you saw it at all. No, fair enough. Jason, I know you didn't see it because it was like, you know, in the UK.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no black spots in American history ever at all.
That's right. You're all perfect. All right. Number 4 is Umbrella Academy. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy. This came out really early on in the year, and I just loved it. The comic book was really shit, so I was really surprised that they chose to adapt this. I think it was written by the bloke from My Chemical Romance or some shit like that. Or Smashing Pumpkins or whatever. I can't fucking remember. One of those emo twats. But really good series. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, excellent premise as well. I just like the subject matters and you know how in the end it was just like they didn't actually manage to save the day kind of thing, and so you move forward from there. And there's a lot of time travel elements in it and back and forth, and yeah, it was really good. Just a lot of fun and very, very heartbreaking as well. Have you guys seen it, Sam?
Yep. I've seen it. It was. It felt like X-Men.
Felt like
an X-Men.
Yeah, which is why I liked it.
But I liked it. It was okay. It had what's her face in it. Oh God, what's the name of that actress who played Kitty or Catty in X-Men?
Oh fuck. Oh God. 1 second. I forgot. But,
she was in Juno and all that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just trying. Sorry, I apologize because when you brought it up, it hasn't been in my mind for a long time. So I am really having to remind myself. I do remember the overall bits and bobs. I like the fact that kid he ended up being an old man in the future, but he was the one who could do portals and stuff, and came back as a kid after living his entire life as an adult. And it was funny really in places. Yeah, that's a good that child actor is going to be a good actor, man. Yeah, as he grows up, he's going to be the new whoever. But yeah, there's a lot of child actors who have made it as adult actors in this recent generation.
Macaulay Culkin.
No, but he'll be better than him.
I think the two of these actors were in Inception, Leonardo DiCaprio and the other one. They were child actors, and they're still going strong. But I don't want to go too much in tangent. I can't remember Umbrella Academy too much, but I can't put it into words what I do remember. So, but yeah,
it's a good show. Jason, have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I've heard good things about it. It's on my list to watch, but okay.
Moving on then. Right, number 3 is the film adaptation of What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know if you've seen the film What We Do in the Shadows, but it is one of the funniest films ever made. It is by your boy Taika Waititi, who I absolutely love as long as he doesn't touch sci-fi. When he does his own thing in his own elements, exactly. Thank you, Peter. Yes, Ellen Page, and was it? Yeah, it was from My Chemical Romance. Thank you again, Peanut. So yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is just fucking hilarious. It was a brilliant adaptation. It had excellent actors in it, in Matt Berry, in Kyva Novak, and I forget her name, Greek name, but she's excellent in it as well. And it had possibly the greatest cameos outside of Keanu Reeves' cameo in Always Be My Maybe, which was hilarious. But it had the best cameos. It drew in so many different universes of vampires and vampires, and I can't say anything because I just recommend people go watch it, especially just for that episode with the cameos in it. It's funny as hell. I fucking damn near nearly collapsed the fucking colon watching this film so this series. I don't know if you boys have seen it or have you seen the film? You suck. All right, number two. Number two is Harley Quinn. This show is only 5 episodes in, and I cannot describe how fucking good this is. It's everything I've ever wanted, which is taking well-known comic book characters and just giving it towards an adult audience. It's the logical step. It's what I love about Warner Brothers in their animation department. They're just like, kids aren't watching this shit anymore. It's the adults. They're the market. They're the ones buying the merch. The kids aren't doing shit. They're on their fucking iPhone all the time like a bunch of dickheads on Instagram. So Warner Brothers like, fuck it, give it to, and this is what's been so successful. Well, you know, okay, I don't like Titans, but I like the way they went with it in the terms of gearing it towards a teen or an adult market. Doom Patrol, which is really good, and they did. Harley Quinn just takes it to that next level. It's violent, it's funny as hell. It's I love the voice actors in it. I just love everything about this. Jason, I know you've been watching it. What do you think?
I mean, TBD, to be discussed.
Okay.
Or do you want me to just talk about it now?
Yep. Zam?
I'm waiting for the whole season to come out before I watch it.
Fair enough. I tend to do that, but I couldn't wait with this. Okay. And number one is... Where is that? I've lost my fucking list now. Number one, I think we can all guess, it's The Boys. This fucking show, oh my God. Nipples tweaked, ripped, and thrown in the bin. It was excellent. It was such a great kind of, you know, it was like a nice parody of what would happen whether if the Justice League were like a franchise or a brand, and what would happen behind the scenes, and it showed how flawed they were as heroes as well. They're not all nicey nice. It was excellent, and the people going after them was fantastic. That they've all been affected personally by these heroes that go on saving the world. And it just had such a brilliantly dark take. It was funny as hell. I mean, you pick up a baby with laser eyes and you wipe out the goons. It's one of the greatest TV moments of 2019. And yeah, they've already finished filming season 2, so we know it's coming. I just can't stop gushing about this. This is everything for me. Boys, have you seen it? Zam?
Yeah, I have seen it. It's in my top 5.
Excellent. Okay, we won't elaborate anymore. Jason?
Samesies.
Okay, excellent. All right, so that being said, we will go with Jason to your top 5 TV.
All right, so starting at number 5, and actually the saddest thing about this top 5 is that I realized that I have only sat down and watched 5 new shows this year.
Jesus Christ.
So by default, number 5 is The Witcher. So, and it's on this list because of the visuals, and although the story was very confusing, I love Henry Cavill. The look was great. The action the sword play was awesome. I like the way they did their portrayal of magic. So, I mean, there were definitely some good, although the story was very confusing and the jumping back and forth, that lost me. I enjoyed a lot of the magic and visuals and stuff. So, I don't know. Zam, is it on your top 5 or you?
No way. I did not like that show at all. I wanted to like it. I really did. But there's one thing I've noticed about I mean, you give Netflix a lot of credit, but I really do feel sometimes that they cheapen on the action. And I'm sorry for spoiling a couple of bits, but a couple of episodes began with him with the monster already being killed. That really pisses me off with shit like that. I want to see him kill the fucking monster and fight the monster. That's what I want to see. You know, it's all. I don't mind story, but mix it up with some of the fucking shit people are really familiar with regarding The Witcher. I know you're taking from the book, but satisfy people in every fucking department. Didn't satisfy me enough. I mean, I'm going to watch season 2. I am actually going to watch season 2, but I'm very disappointed with season 1. It did not feel. It was confusing as fuck as well. I mean, everyone I spoke to told me about it, and I understand what they were doing. I'm kind of getting it, and I'm, to a degree, I was expecting shit to make sense in the future episodes. You know, but nevertheless, it was confusing. I didn't enjoy it that much. I hope it gets better.
Ginge,
Yeah, I
did you already
enjoyed
talk about it on yours? Did you already talk about it on yours?
No, it's in my top 10, but not my top 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. The sword play was excellent. I'll be honest with you, I didn't recognize the time jumping until about episode 6.
I didn't recognize it until episode 4 when
I
I'm
was like, wait a minute, isn't he dead?
Yeah.
What? And then I was like, okay, but you know, I was just enjoying it. I didn't really notice the time jumping. It didn't bother me because didn't find it that confusing because maybe I wasn't paying as much attention to certain parts of the script and all of that. But yeah, for what it was, I really enjoyed it. I liked the concept of how magic works. I liked the performances were fantastic, especially by Yennefer, the actress who plays Yennefer, and you know, fantastic tits in the whole show.
Boobs, holy
boobs, and you know, just really loved it. But not enough to be. It was number 10 in my top 10, basically. But yeah, moving on.
So number 4 is going to be Ginger's number 1, which is The Boys. I mean, as everybody knows, and we've talked about this on this show a lot. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else. I love Carl Urban. So, I mean, like, just like with Henry Cavill, it's like if you have a good lead and good surrounding characters, I can get on board with just about any show. So, I mean, you know, I know you guys really loved it and everything, and that's fine. I mean, for me, it was just Dark Justice League. You know, I don't know. I mean, it was. I like the story a lot more than I like the Witcher story. And the visual effects were really good. So, I mean, I know you've already talked about it, Jabba, and Zam, it's on your list, so I'll just move on from that. My number 3 is going to be Harley Quinn. Holy crap. So I've wanted to get on with you, Ginger, to do a review on this show. Like, I don't know, like 6 episodes in or something like that. Just this show is like what I was saying earlier about Dragon Ball. This show is when they just give a creator something and they say, do what, balls to the wall, do whatever you want and make it good. And it's like, that's exactly what this show is. And I mean, the first episode was great and it's gone up from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I cannot wait for this more and more to come out and just to see it all. I mean, as I said, Ginger, I would maybe halfway through the series, I'd love to sit down with you and just do a review of like the first 6 or 7 episodes and just talk about each episode, you know.
I'll happily fucking do that.
So it would, I mean, you know, I just would have to go back and watch each episode and then just take notes, but oh, it's just so good.
I've got to say, every time the new episode comes out, I go back and rewatch everything from the start to get to that point again.
Really?
That's how much I love this fucking show. Yeah, I listen. It's in there as one of my favorite things of the decade. That's how much I love it.
But you know, it is very, very good. Like, I'm honestly, this probably should have been my number 2, but now that I'm talking about it, but it's like when I was making the list, you know, so number 2 is a little bit more. It was a little bit more unique for me. It's Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol in the DC Universe app. This show is, again, something that balls to the wall. They're just like, make this weird and make it, crazy. Take these characters and make it whatever you want it to be. And they did. Like the final episode, there's like a cockroach and a demigod, involved in this episode. Like, what? Like the whole last episode was so crazy, and every episode just is so crazy. It's just like, it was so entertaining. And Brendan Fraser is just such a great spaz. I think the only person that you could get to play a better spaz is the guy David Schwimmer. But I think Brendan Fraser's voice is much more delightful to the ears than David Schwimmer.
Yeah, than that whiny bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, because Brendan, but anyway, so I digress. But I don't know, you guys have seen Doom Patrol?
Yeah, I really liked it. I
fucking forgot to watch that, actually. I know they were in Umbrella Academy. Is that right?
Yeah. No, they were in Titans.
Oh yeah, sorry, Titans. My bad. They were in Titans, and that's where I saw them initially. And I wanted to watch it, and it fell off my radar.
Yeah, no, I watched it again. I didn't like Titans, but I definitely was gonna give this a show because I really like the comic book. It is actually the original X-Men that they say Marvel ripped off, and it's blatantly obvious. So yeah, it was a really good show. It was like, again, it went weird, and weird is good. Weird is fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend Doom Patrol. Moving on.
Numero uno is The Mandalorian. Now I know I stepped away for a little bit. I don't know if this was on your list, Ginge, but I had to step away.
It just scraped in the top 10.
Okay. For me, this show was everything I really wanted it to be. I know that some of you guys were a little harder on it, and me and Zam talked about it last night on the Mandalorian review, and I'm not going to say much more beyond that, but this show was what I call oh no, you were there too, Ginge.
Came in 20 minutes later, yeah.
But I mean, this show was a step in the right direction for me. Like, every first season is going to have its ups and downs. It still has to find its footing. But I feel like that this is definitely a step in the right direction for the Star Wars as a whole. Like, we're stepping out of the Skywalker crap. Hopefully we're moving into more galactic, like, scope of things, not just focused on 9 characters, in the Star Wars universe. Like, hopefully we'll get to see tons of extended and legends and Shadows of the Empire lore, and just, moving into things that are just not so Jedi and, central, like, Skywalker focus. And so that's why Mandalorian's my number, because this show was everything I wanted it to be, because it just, I mean, Jedi was mentioned once in the entire series, and there was no force powers that I take that back, Baby Yoda. So, but like, yeah,
and Baby Yoda. Yoda's a correlate, Baby Yoda.
Okay, so everything outside of Baby Yoda was everything I wanted it to be. How about that? Let's do that. Okay. So
they went to Tatooine. They went into the same cantina. We saw Han's booth. There was a lot, man. There was a lot. We went back to places.
Those are just Easter eggs.
We've been to before.
Honestly, I didn't even recognize that was the same cantina at first. I only realized it when somebody mentioned it. So honestly, I mean, it was a huh?
What about the booth? That Han Solo wannabe. He was in the same booth as when Han met
my least favorite. New Hope is like my least favorite Star Wars original trilogy movie. It's like second to last on my list. I'm sorry. I didn't enjoy it all that much. Anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Mandalorian, fine for a starting off point. I wasn't blown away. I did enjoy it, apart from the 3 filler episodes. Moving on. I could bored of talking about Mandalorian. Zam.
All right, I couldn't do a top 5 for this one because I couldn't make it into 5. I had to make it 6.
Oh boy.
No,
considering you're doing a top 5,
it have to be 6? But you're always extra.
You do top 10 for fuck's sake?
Huh?
You're doing a top 10.
Yeah, not here. I'm doing a top 10. My top 10 is going to be released as a list.
Well, look, the reason why, because I wasn't sure. I just couldn't, dude. I found it really difficult to put one out. All right, I'll take out the Mandalorian. All right, I'll take the Mandalorian out. How's
All right,
that?
good.
But we've
He's still
spoken about the Mandalorian. All right, but the Mandalorian was going to be on that list. Okay, so at number five was we've already spoken about this a bit. Is The Boys. There's no particular order, by the way. This top five, but number five is The Boys. I love this show. I mean, I put this in the same sort of bracket as something like The Joker. It's just what I want to see at times when it comes to comic book adaptations of into film of certain characters into film. I want to see this version of it, a real grounded version, how it affects regular people as well. I loved it. We've spoken so much about it. We could talk about certain scenes, but just the groundedness of it, what these superheroes would be like in this world, as well as how some of these characters change themselves during the course of a season. I mean, there's no real redemption for fucking the Deep, is there? Regardless of what he fucking does, there's no redemption for that fucker. But they're trying to show some sort of redemption. They're trying to show a guy trying to be a better person, but he has to go through a lot of shit first. But nevertheless, I'm going on a tangent. Yeah, The Boys, good stuff. That was my number five. Shall I move on?
Yeah. Move on.
Number four is Peaky Blinders, the most recent season. I'm not sure if you still watch Peaky Blinders anymore, Ginger.
Well, I haven't watched the new season. Well, I actually haven't seen 4 or 5, because I didn't like number 3.
That season's the shit one.
Yeah.
4 is good. And 4 is good.
Yeah,
I'll
4 watch when they drop on Netflix.
Yeah. But yeah, nevertheless, Peaky Blinders, I love, going back to what we said about Martin Scorsese and The Irishman, I love gangster stuff, and this kind of shows it. And it's, I'm finding it really hard to talk about it, but I thoroughly like this show.
Yeah, fair enough. Gangster stuff, man. That's what you need to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Next one. Yeah, let's just keep going. Yeah, next one. Now this next one, I wasn't. This is why I wanted it also as a top 6, but I wasn't sure if this show came out this year or not. And that's The Orville season 2. I think it came out this year.
It came out this year, beginning of the year.
Yeah, I love this. This is what I want. Why can't Star Trek do more? Yeah, but like this is more Star Trek than the most recent Star Trek stuff we've been getting.
Yeah, I agree.
This is next generation type Star Trek we're getting here, and we don't get this enough, and I love it. And the funny thing with you'd think there'd be more laughs in this, but no, it's quite serious most of the time, sprinkled with a bit of humor at the right time. It works really well when they use the humor. Most of the time, it's quite a serious show with some serious topics, with serious consequences as well. It's a really good show. I'm not sure if you guys watched The Orville season 2. Have you seen it, Roberto?
Absolutely. It's actually on my top 5 returning shows list. That's what I thought that list was for, but whatever.
Yeah. Just with Zam's
Zam,
you know what I mean? So
he just does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, I like The Orville. I think they've done it.
You seen season 2, yeah?
I haven't seen season 2 yet, but anyway, moving on.
And sticking with Star Trek Discovery season 2.
Really?
I started to enjoy Discovery more this particular season. I did like Lurker from last season. I wish they never killed him off. It was such a bad thing to do. You should have. My idea for Star Trek Discovery was having a captain who was very gung ho, more of just a different type of captain. A lot of the other captains in the past, even Cisco to a degree, wouldn't have to resort to fucking fucked up things until they really had to. But this guy would resort to fucked up things from the beginning, and I thought that's what made him a great captain. But overall, season 2, with regarding the Red Angel and all of that shit, was interesting. You got to see. I'm sorry, my brain's just not fucking working today. Too much shit. But sorry, but yeah, I can vaguely remember it, but it came out at the beginning of the fucking year. But I did enjoy it, and that's why it was in my fucking top 5.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
I haven't seen it.
And where am I now?
Number one.
Cobra Kai season 2. This show's fucking brilliant, man. This show's fucking awesome, man. I love this show so much. I can't wait for season 3, man. It never nostalgia felt so fucking good until I started watching this shit, man. This stuff was brilliant, and I love the fact that a lot of it's more focused on. Is it Tommy, the character.
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny, sorry. He's more focused on him than it is on Daniel-san. Or if anything, they show 50-50 of it. And I like it. I like how the show is made, and the comedy's done well. Even though at times it can be serious. Fantastic cliffhanger at the end of season 2. I look forward to where season 3 takes us. But yeah, Cobra Kai, great show. Can't wait for more. I want more now. Feed me more. That's my top 5 television shows.
It's in my list, so I'm not going to talk about it now. Jason, you seen it?
Sorry, I was glitching for a second. No, I have not yet.
Right.
I know that you guys have said that I need to, so that's just on my list to see.
Okay, moving on then. So now we're on top 5 returning TV shows. I know Zams was a little bit of both. That's absolutely fine. Extra ass bitch. So Jason, if you want to take this one.
Sure. So my top 5 returning TV shows of again, I don't watch a lot of TV, so it's like this one's hard for me, but I mean I was able to, pull it out of the excess butthole pouch. And so honestly, one of the shows that's really impressed me, and I don't even know what season they're on, but one of the shows that's really impressed me is The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And I know it's a little bit off of what we're talking about here, but I've always liked Trevor Noah on The Daily Show. I don't know if you guys even watch it. Probably not.
Yes,
I mean, it's
I
just
do.
like that's our comedy show.
I'll talk about it when you're done.
Okay. But I just enjoy it for the comedy. I mean, obviously I don't get my news from them, but I do enjoy kind of like the comical spin on everything. And I think that they've really done a good job at coming into their own. And I know he's
Oh,
he's glitching. You're glitching.
yeah, sorry. I'm back.
Oh, he's back. Yeah.
All right. So I know that he's Trevor Noah's no Jon Stewart, but I mean I don't think he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be like the evolution of the show. So anyway, so that's that one. Ginger?
So you say evolution, I say devolution of that show. Now, Jon Stewart was somebody who was not afraid to go after the establishment. He was not afraid to speak his mind and go into areas where nobody else would dare tread. It's what made Jon Stewart so fucking amazing. Trevor Noah is nothing but a corporate mouthpiece. All the shit that he focuses on is vanilla toast compared to what Jon Stewart did. He just toes the corporate line, the same old fucking talking points. He never talks about anti-war, never talks about, all the Bernie Sanders stuff, never just goes outside of the box. He just like, this is what you're going to talk. Here you are, little bitch boy. This is your subject. There you go. You can talk about race, which is your kind of area of expertise. That's absolutely fine. But everything else, this is what you're given. Toe the line. Be a good little boy. Okay. So I have no respect for Trevor Noah. I don't like him as a comedian. I don't like the show at all since he took over. I miss Jon Stewart. I want to see Jon Stewart come back in some way or another because he's a voice that's really needed. I mean, Bill Maher used to be kind of that voice, but he's become another fucking lackey to the millionaire class because he's a millionaire. So yeah, fuck Trevor Noah and fuck the Daily Show.
All right, well, I agree with you. I miss Jon Stewart too. I'm not saying that he's better than Jon. I think Trevor Noah is something completely different than Jon Stewart. And you're right. I mean, Jon Stewart was that person who was afraid to take on the establishment, and I don't disagree with you on any of those points. But as a show, I feel like it's, as I said, it's kind of entertaining, and I laugh, and I'm not disputing any of your points. I'm just saying my whole aspect of it is I enjoy watching it, and I enjoy the satire.
Can I recommend for you then, on the Jon Stewart levels, on YouTube, every Friday, Redacted Tonight, it's called. It's from a comedian called Lee Camp. And yeah, it does go after the establishment, but it's done in the very same style of The Daily Show.
What's it called again?
Redacted Tonight. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
The new show only came out yesterday. I'll send you a link. It's really funny.
Okay.
But really good.
I'm all for it. I mean, I need some Jon Stewart in my life. As I said, and I mean, when I said evolution of The Daily Show, I meant of a show. Like, I'm not like, trust me, I know. Like, The Daily Show is definitely a whole different animal than it was when it was with Jon Stewart. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people forced Jon Stewart out. I don't, or maybe he just got sick of the fight. I don't know.
Maybe just got sick of the fight. Yeah, Zam.
I mean, I just want to quickly add, like Jon Stewart is still fighting. You saw what he's doing for the first responders.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's the biggest voice for them. And you can see how much he's fucking aged by doing it as well. And I'm 50-50 with Jon Stewart. I disagree with you regarding him not being funny. I think he's hilarious. I think he's extremely talented. I do agree with you though.
You mean Trevor Noah?
Trevor Noah. My bad. I do agree with you though that he doesn't. He's not like he's not doing enough when it comes to those when it comes to those really major issues like Jon Stewart did. Yeah, he's picking he's making fun of Trump all the time. Anybody can fucking do that. That ain't shit. People be making fun of president for years. People be making fun, because Trump's such a fucking idiot. He's an easy target. But nevertheless, he's not doing enough when it comes to other issues. I agree with you there, Ginger. Totally.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Move on. Yeah.
My number 4 is going to be Titans season 2. Titans season 1 was a mixed bag. It was really rough. I didn't hate it as much as most, but I didn't think it was awesome.
Spoilers.
Titans season 2 was a definite 180, and it definitely raised the bar. And honestly, I feel like it brought the show into its own. And I mean, this is kind of the sophomore year of any television show that gets its footing and finds it out. And I mean, I get it that the end of season 1 was rough, and and they ended it at a weird point, and season 2 picked up at a weird point. I agree. I think it was, I don't know. I think it was because the special effects weren't done on the season finale, and that's why they moved it. But I don't know exactly why, but that's my guess. But Titans season 2, I felt like really delved into the characters a lot better. It took the Titans as a group seriously, and it really just kind of solidified what they're trying to do with this show. So that's kind of I don't know if either of you guys have seen Titans season 2. I know some of you guys have seen season 1.
I've seen season 1, yeah, because what pissed me off about season 1 was that the penultimate episode started off with Robin going into that haunted house, and then the whole fucking episode was this bullshit fucking, memory fucking alternative unit world he's living in through, like they're making him into a dream sequence, which I totally knew was the case. And the very last 30 seconds, it ends with a cliffhanger, and I fucking hated it. And that really pissed me off. That really, really, really pissed me off. Like, how can you do that? What a fucking cop-out. You had no idea what to do with the final of the episode. That's why you're ending it like this. And what I've seen of the trailers of season 2 is that none of the shit that happened at the end of season 1 seems to be relevant at all. But I'm going to watch it eventually, season 2 of Titans. I just got around to it.
I mean, they wrap everything up in season 2, episode 1 pretty well. It's just they do.
Yeah. I felt by looking at what I've seen in the trailers, it seems like that. It feels like season 1, the ending feels like it had no relevance. But don't go on about it too much. I'll figure it out for myself.
Okay. Ginge, anything else or no?
Moving on.
Okay. All right. Season 3 is Orville season 2. So another sophomore year season. Are you guys frozen, or am I just...
No, we can see you.
You're fine.
Okay, I'm back. God. Yeah, right. I need that
max by grade.
All right, so Orville season 2, sophomore year. I think they expanded on the characters really well. I mean, Orville, as Zam said, Orville's a great supplement to Star Trek. It is, the modern day. I feel like Paramount missed the boat when they didn't bring Seth MacFarlane on. I mean, I don't even like Family Guy or Seth MacFarlane all that much, but I like this show. So, I mean, I think it's really well done, and I think that it's a passion project that is being well treated.
Look, at the end of the day, you can tell he's a Star Trek fan. And sometimes when you have a fan who... MacFarlane is talented in a lot of areas. I don't like Family Guy. I love American Dad. I used to love it. I've always preferred it to Family Guy. But he's somebody that just takes things, rip-off, spins, whatever, and reinterprets it, blah, blah, blah. And I got no respect for the guy, but he's talented. And, Orville is just his passion project for Star Trek. And at that point, you're just like, you know what? If I'm at Paramount, I'm like, yeah, let's bring him on as a producer for the series because he knows he's doing a better fucking job than we are. So you give him a decent budget and you say, you know, fuck it, just do what you want with it.
Has he ever been in Star Trek? Has he ever been in Star Trek, Seth MacFarlane?
I don't
I think he cameoed in one of the series, didn't he, or not?
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like he might have, but I'm not sure.
It would have had to have been like Enterprise or something, because I mean that was
I think he definitely cameoed in one of them. Yeah.
All right.
Moving on.
Number 2 is the 6th season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This series, I like. Okay, so Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a great series because, it's just because the humor is great. Huh?
Sorry, I was replying to say what Peanut was saying about the end of Titan season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn, I love the actors in it. I love the writing in it. And normally when you have a show that jumps from one network to another, so I think this one really surprised me because I was fearing the worst. Because when you jump from one network to another, there's always changes. Some people don't come with, and there's just tone changes. And actually, they in season 6 they kept all of it the same, and that was their best move. Like they didn't try to change it, they didn't try to improve it. They just like, no, this is what's working. We're going to keep it. And now it's renewed for season 7. And honestly, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of my favorite shows going on right now.
Renewed for season 8. They've already finished filming season 7.
Oh, they already did season 8. So yay! Do you guys have anything to comment on Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Or
it's on my list.
No. Oh, okay.
It is now.
And numero uno for returning series, and this one has been many years in the returning. Young Justice season 3. Holy shitballs. This show, not only did it improve from the first 2 seasons, which I didn't think was possible, because the seasons 1 and season 2 were so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell people, if you do not have DC Universe, get fucking DC Universe. Because
or find that on Netflix here.
Yeah, I say or on Netflix. But like this season, I mean, and I have there's a whole top 10 of mine talking about Young Justice season 3. So I'm not gonna belabor
video.
But this show,
good video.
Yeah, the audio sucks, but other than that,
no, it doesn't matter.
But Young Justice season 3, and one of my favorite points about it is that the show grew up with us. So like it expanded. It made more adult themes, kind of like Harley Quinn. They're like now that they're on the streaming service and they don't have to worry about toy sales and they don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. They're like, do the story you guys want to do. Talk about the things you want to talk about, and they did, and it was fantastic. Every episode, I couldn't wait for every single. I've watched probably season 3 or 4 times all the way through, and I mean, and I watched it even more when I was doing my top 10 on it because I had to go back and watch a lot of it again just to kind of get my notes together. Because the first time I watched it, I was enjoying it, and I didn't want to take notes. So that is why the Young Justice is like by far. Even I mean, seasons 1 and 2 are amazing. Season 3 is just, if not more, amazing. And yeah, so. All right, I'm going to stop, creaming myself.
Yeah, it's in my top 10. That's for sure. I loved it. It just took it to the next level. It matured everything perfectly. So I don't want to dwell on it too much. But yeah, I agree with what you said, basically. Zam?
I've only seen 1 and 2. I haven't seen season. What was the gap between season 2 and 3? Was it more than 10 years?
No, 2 years.
Yeah, it's not that big in this one.
2 and 3?
2 and 3, you're thinking of 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Oh, God. What has it been, like almost a decade?
Oh, no. Probably about
more than a decade.
5 or 6 years, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
It's just fucking too long.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while, but it was only like
something that needs to be it's on the list. It fell off the list,
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'll watch it.
Was that your number 1?
That was my number 1.
Okay, that was a nice top 5. Right, my ones. So number 5, Cobra Kai, bitches. Yeah, I love fucking love the show. I mean, technically, I could have put it in my new one because I only got into it this year, but it's cheating, and I like to, stick to the rules. Cobra Kai, yeah, I fucking hell, I love this show so much. It focused a bit too much. I thought that there was too much of Danny in it, and his stuff is mostly boring. Prefer the Johnny stuff. I hope season 3 you get more Johnny stuff than you do Danny. But yeah, brilliant. The fight sequences, brilliant. It just is like, we're doing the 1980s in 2018 and 2019, and fuck it, let's just go ham. And it was fantastic, a lot of fun. I know Zam, you've already talked about it, and that. So yeah, I loved it. Number 4, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now I love the show. I love the characters, love the actors. I'm always a big fan of Andy Samberg, obviously with The Lonely Island and things like that. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine, just like you said, when it transitions to a new network, you think, oh God, what they're going to do. They're going to cuck it. There's always changes that are never good. No, they made some changes, but really good changes. The changes were a bit more of the saucier kind, if you know what I mean. The language was up to more, it pulled less punches, talking about things, and for me, it's the best season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine to date. And the fact that it's gone and it done that I love season 6. I thought absolutely fantastic. What a great change. They've done the right thing. NBC did the right thing by buying this show because they can stick it on their network of Peacock and that, and up the game even more. So yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was definitely right. Number 3 is Mindhunter season 2. Now, if you haven't seen Mindhunter, it's fucking fantastic. It is basically the early days of when the FBI were just kind of moving into understanding that, hey, people that are killing multiple people and all that, there needs to be a term for it. There needs to be there was no division in the FBI that kind of investigated or dealt with this kind of area. And so it's the beginnings of America understanding serial killers and what it's all about, and they get funding divisions, and you have quite possibly the best actors in Hollywood in this show playing serial killers. Like the guy who played, he wasn't really a serial killer, but he got people to kill people. What's his name? Fucking guy with the Nazi cross in his head, Mason something or other. I forgot what's his fucking name. It was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. God damn it. Never mind. I forget his Charlie Manson. Charlie Manson, for fuck's sake. The actor that played him and all these other serial killers. It's just a great show. It's not action packed. It's a very slow burner, but you just get engrossed in it. You get engrossed in what everyone's doing and the investigations taking place trying to catch serial killers. So yeah, it was a fantastic return. Zam, have you seen Mindhunter?
No, it's on my once again on the.
Yeah, okay, no problem, dude. Jason,
I have not, but I'm really sorry. I have to go. Like I'm pushing the limits right now.
All right, dude, no problem, man.
So you guys keep going. I'll chime in as much as I can, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've got some other top 5s if you guys want to do another top 5 anytime soon. So
yep, sounds good.
Chat with you guys later.
Yeah. Yeah,
Take care, Bob.
Right. Sorry, Peanuts touchback. Yes, it was the season with a brilliant flashback of Hitchcock and Scully, which was excellent for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Okay. Number 2 is Trailer Park Boys, but Trailer Park Boys went animated this year. Zam, I don't know, have you ever seen Trailer Park Boys?
No, I haven't seen it in ages, man.
Oh, mate, it's still going and it's still fucking awesome.
Oh, my God. That geezer looks like Down syndrome and shit. No, sorry, I shouldn't have said what I said. But yeah. But yeah, I haven't seen. I didn't know it was still going.
Yeah, it's still going. Netflix bought it. Yeah, Netflix bought it, and they did see on the main show. They did season 12, but technically they're on season 13. But season 13 was was a cartoon. It was completely animated, and the premise was that at the end of season 12, they ingested so many mushrooms that the world just warps into animated for them, and it was fucking brilliant. It was so funny. It gives like in terms of silliness, it gives South Park a run for its money. Just brilliant. Like, yeah, honestly, like a show that's been going for 20 years, and you basically take it and you make it animated, and it's just so fucking funny. I ain't got much else to say on that. It's just I can't recommend it enough. Zam, get back into Trailer Park Boys, man. It is still fantastic. Yeah. So number one is South Park season 23. South Park, again, 23 years going, and it's still going strong. And this year, it gave us one of its best seasons. It was really funny. It was very on the nose about the subject matters and holiday specials and drugs and just. Yeah, it's just like the fact that these boys are still going, they still keep it fresh, they're still funny. It's just a testament to their talent. I think they're two of the most talented writers, performers in Hollywood. They're my absolute favorite, one of my absolute favorite things in the world. And South Park just continues to show that by just being solid as fuck every season. It's barely had any blips. I'd say in total, maybe 4 seasons were weak out of the 23, which that says a lot. I mean, you compare that to like fucking shit like Family Guy or The Simpsons. It's incredible how far the show gone and still goes and still continues to be popular. Zam, do you still watch South Park at all?
I haven't watched South Park in a while. It's like a lot of stuff, like The Simpsons. You just move on from it. I did find some of their shows not to be as good as the quality didn't feel like it was up there at times on certain episodes, but maybe that's when I start back. Maybe those are the seasons you mentioned, and maybe that's the period of time when I thought, "Fuck this! I'm not going to watch this anymore."
Yeah, probably earlier on.
I really want to get back into it, to tell you the truth, because it's South Park is like a massive part of pop culture, and the fact that they're still going on now is just amazing. Yeah,
I think the advantage they have is that it takes them only a week to do an episode, so they can stay on topic very good. But it's not just that; it's how they handle the subject matters of those topics that they do it in such a brilliant way. There's no like one side to it. There's like 2 sides to everything, and then they show the stupid sides to both arguments and all of that. And I think that's just what makes South Park fucking awesome. Yeah, so that's it. That was my top 5 returning shows of the year. Obviously, Zam, you've done your top 5 shows in general and all of that. But you know what? To finish off the show, why don't we do your random top 5 that you had saved?
Okay.
And we'll finish off with that.
Okay, well, it's just me and you, and in a way,
probably better.
If I'm not sure if Roberto and definitely Chris would know some of these actors, but I've done a top 5 Scottish actors.
Oh, okay.
And one person who's been removed from this list because we've spoken about him on many occasions is Ewan McGregor. He would be on this list, but I've taken him off and I've replaced him with somebody else, and I'll tell you who that replacement is when I get to him. In no particular order, at number 5, I start probably with arguably the worst, so maybe it is a little bit of an order. It's Gerard Butler. Yeah, I mentioned pop culture earlier. He cemented himself in pop culture with This Is Sparta and 300. I mean, he's got a legacy just on that alone. Some of his films have been shit since then, but that's why he's probably at the bottom of my list. But nevertheless, he's a recognizable actor, and you might watch some of his shit if he's in it. What do you think of Gerard Butler, Ginge?
I wouldn't call him a top actor, but well, I mean, given the plethora of fucking Scottish actors that are out there, I wouldn't put him in my top 5. But You know, he's one of those people that's he.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that's just fallen into the fucking popcorn flick category of actors now that just does shitty action films that you enjoy watching. Like, you know, who doesn't like the Olympus Has Fallen series? You know, they're stupid, but it's popcorn flicks, so you just gotta watch them anyway and just enjoy the silliness of it.
He was supposed to do a remake of Escape from New York, and he was supposed to play Snake Plissken, but that never panned out, which is I was kind of gutted about. I mean,
I don't mind. I fucking hate having to do remakes all the bloody time. So,
well, he was, by the way, he's the replacement for Ewan McGregor, but I didn't want to keep bringing up Ewan McGregor all the fucking time. Okay. On to number 4. Number 4 is Nebula from Endgame. It's Karen Gillan. This act, it's not only is she beautiful, she's extremely talented. She's been in Doctor Who as well before she became a major player in Hollywood. She's in Jumanji films as well, looking great, acting great. Her American accent's fantastic. She's a very talented actress. What do you think of Karen Gillan?
Oh, mate. Yeah, she is actually a very talented actress. Very pretty as well. Let's not lie. But she's very good. You don't even need to see her in Nebula. I mean, even in Doctor Who and even in some of the other films that she's done, yeah, she does really well. She's very versatile as fuck. And she doesn't get the credit she deserves, to be honest. So, yeah, I agree.
Number 3 is where I go back to my old adage of stand-up comedians being the best actors, and this guy I don't think gets enough recognition for his acting. A bit like someone like for instance, like Jackie Chan doesn't get enough recognition for being an actor. They just see him as the martial artist.
Oh my god! If you've seen Jackie Chan in The Foreigner,
yeah, exactly, yeah. Which is what I was about to say. And same with this actor too. He's more known for a stand-up comedian, but Billy Connolly is a great fucking actor. And if you've seen the film called Mrs. Brown, where he plays the love interest to Queen Victoria, fantastic. You know, he's been in films like The Last Samurai, and he was also the only person to be killed off in a Muppet movie.
That's right. Yeah.
He's a very good actor, and I don't want to harp on the stand-up comedy too much because that's not what we're talking about. Just him as an actor. He's an excellent actor. What do you think of Billy Connolly, Ginge?
Well, first of all, he's my number 1 comedian of all time. Let's just get that out of the way. And number 2, he's a very solid actor. You know, very underrated. Mrs. Brown was his magnum opus. I thought it was phenomenal in that.
Phenomenal.
And Boondock Saints, he was, you know, the fucking Boondock Saints. If you haven't seen Boondock Saints, he was great in that. Very subtle performance, but it's fantastic. You haven't seen? Oh, mate, you got to see Boondock Saints. It's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so on to number 2. Number 2 is probably the most famous Scottish actor of all time. It's Sean Connery. This guy's James fucking Bond. This guy is retired now, but he's still alive, still going strong. He's been in great movies. He's been in stupid movies as well, like Zardos and fucking How I Landed Too. But who cares about that when, you know, with some of the amazing stuff he has been in. One of my favorite films, by the way, of his is a film that's gone under the radar for a lot of people, but I love it. It's called Outlander. I'm not sure if you've seen it. He plays like some sort of space cop. You know,
is that the one where he's in that red bikini?
No, that's Zardos or Zordos.
Zardos.
Outlander is the one where he's in space, and you know, there's these people like all these miners are using these drugs so they can mine harder, like the steroids and stuff. And he finds out about it, killing people, and he's just a regular cop on this space station, you know, and you know,
I'm adding that to my list. I haven't seen it.
Outlander. Watch Outlander. It's got that vibe of Alien. It's got that alien look, but it's got no alien in it. You know, it's just basically he plays a cop on this space station where a corporation is pumping their employees with these drugs to work harder, but these drugs then make them go crazy and fucking and they go around killing people and killing themselves. And anyway, Sean Connery, number 2. He's done so much stuff I'm gonna forget. I mean, there's film people forget about. Let's just think of films they forget about, like, you know, Rising Sun with him and fucking Wesley Snipes. You know, stuff like that. You know, he's him trying to be. You know, he was doing Steven Seagal shit before Seagal was. You know,
exactly.
But He's done. Yeah, he played Robin. He played an older Robin Hood in this one Robin Hood film. Like he played like a Robin Hood who was like 45 or like 50-year-old Robin Hood and made married and become a fucking nun. I forgot the name of that movie. He's done so fucking much, man. You know, he was in fucking Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the fucking King, fucking Arthur and shit. And
he's the man's just like
Richard. Sorry, not King Arthur. My
King
bad.
Richard.
King
yeah,
Richard.
that's right.
I knew King Arthur wasn't correct.
Yeah, he did Bridge Too Far as well. I think it was in Man Who Would Be King, which was fucking awesome.
Man Who Would Be King, brilliant
film.
I love that fucking film, man. I love that film. Excellent.
Yeah,
it's just so much, just and yeah,
it was a time.
One of the greatest. Glad he's knighted.
Yeah,
regarding him being the best James Bond, I disagree, but nevertheless, world class. And we're often. By the way, did he ever do American accents in his movies?
He never did any. He tried some weird Russian accent in Hunt for the Red October, but no.
Excellent film again, by the way. Excellent film again, by the way.
Yeah.
Number one is James McAvoy. There's no argument there. Hopefully, the guy is one of the best modern day actors around. He's got a legacy in films already. He's Professor fucking X. He's in that shitty fucking M. Night Shyamalan trilogy. He's been in weird action flicks like Wanted, and he's done serious movies too. Everyone knows he's a great actor. He can do a variety of accents. His American accents are great. The English accents are great. He's a very good actor. I like him a lot. He's very likable in what he does. James McAvoy, what you got to say?
James, one of my favorite actors around at the moment. I absolutely love him. He brings a lot of power to a role. He's always you can tell he's a hard worker. I think it was like The Last King of Scotland or whatever that film he was in with
excellent. I forgot about that. Yeah,
what a fucking great movie, fucking film. He started off in a show called Shameless, and he was one of the best characters in that. The man is like versatile as fuck. In the M. Night Shyamalan film, not Glass. Glass was absolute dog shit, but Split was fantastic. He was in Atomic Blonde as well.
I couldn't think of the name.
His portrayal of Charles Xavier was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Not much else to say, really. I mean, the guy was great. It Chapter 2 he was in as well. He was really good in that.
No, I haven't seen that. One's fallen off my list as well. It Chapter 2. Got to watch that.
But really good. My problem with your list, though, is you don't have David Tennant, Robbie Coltrane, or Brian Cox in there.
Robbie. Oh my god, Robbie Coltrane, Brian Cox, David Tennant. I swear to God, I had no idea he was Scottish. My bad.
David Tennant is as Scottish as they come, and the fact that the other two you can forgive because they're a lot older and sometimes they can fall off. But David Tennant should be number 2 or number 1 on that list. Usually, I don't complain about people's lists, but David Tennant is one of the best.
Well, initially, don't get me wrong. Initially, that list wasn't going to have Gerard Butler in it. I mean, the list without Butler and having Ewan McGregor in it was a decent list, in my opinion. But once I thought to myself, you know what? I've spoken about Ewan McGregor so fucking much in so many shows because of who he is. Yeah, that I had to replace him, and then obviously the only person I could think of Scottish wise was Gerard Butler at the time.
Dreadful, but all right, cool. Nice top 5. I like that one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our top 5s of 2019. There are other top 5s. There's always top 5s, top 10s. I mean, if I didn't want this, if I wanted the show to be 4 hours long, I would have done top 10s because I love top 10s. However, if you're new to this show, it's probably not. But if you are, if you go to Fanboy Rage page on Facebook, I'll be dropping my top 10s there. I suggest other people want to drop their top 10s there. It's a fun group as well. Just cover nerdy shit, and it's a fanboy page. So talk about whatever the fuck you want in there. That is it. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back next Saturday. Will it be 2020 next Saturday? It will be 2020 next Saturday. So we're going to be talking about, in that show, we are going to talk about, one of the subjects will be what are you most looking forward to in 2020? And as well as all the other whatever's talk of the town at the time, which probably won't be much because it's January's the dead season of everything. So, we'll
The Gentleman, that movie, The Gentleman.
What's that?
Just quickly throwing out there, that movie, The Gentleman, looks good. That new Guy Ritchie film.
Oh, yeah, that looks good. That's one to look forward to. Oh, and 1917 looks amazing.
1917, yeah, that was the other one.
Yeah,
It's
not out until the 10th of January, so sadly I won't be talking about that on the 4th, but the following one for sure. So, yeah, there are some things to look forward to. Not so much MCU stuff, but other stuff for sure. So hopefully you join us then. And until then, Happy New Year and Happy New Decade. Zan, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.